Dear students of 11th standard, today we are going to begin with the first poem from poetry section, that is Cherry Tree by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is an Indian author. This poem is by Ruskin Bond. He is widely loved writer of poems and stories. Cherry Tree is a poem of struggle against adverse conditions. It inspires one to fight against the adverse situations. Even if somebody deliberately try to destroy one's effort to achieve one's dream, the struggle, though long, in the end will bear fruit and bring great joy. Now, icebreaker section. You are suggested to refer page number 65 of your textbook to see the text of the poem. Trees are respected all over the world because number one, they give us joy. Number two, they give us food, medicine, wood, besides many more useful things. Number three, they provide shade and shelter to fauna. FAUNA. Fauna means Nisarga Vaibhav. They absorb toxic carbon dioxide and make the air clean. They prevent soil erosion and help rain cloud formation, and therefore tree plantation is encouraged every year all over the world. Now, the statements are given to you. There are total 7 statements correlated with each other. Number 1, you planted a sapling. You planted a sapling. Sapling म्हणजे रोप. एखादं छोटंसं रोप आपण लावतो. You planted a sapling. You wanted to make a humble beginning. You wanted to make a humble beginning. Number 2, you watered the plant. You watered the plant. You cared for it. When you water the plant, you cared it. You saw the shoot for the first time. You saw the shoot for the first time. The new experience brought excitement to you. Number 4, you fenced the plant. You fenced the plant. Your motive, your purpose, your aim is to protect it. Number 5, The plant gradually had lush green leaves grow on it. The color symbolizing life gave you a feeling of hope. Number 6. The tree had birds too, gave you a feeling of joy to see the promising future. The last statement is here, statement number 7. Birds made a nest on the trees, which was fully grown and laden with flowers. You were happy. You were happy and satisfied because you experienced what you had often heard, that small beginning can lead to great achievements. Every great thing is achieved by the small beginning. The longest journey to any destination begins with a single stride, subject to condition that you should have the desire to start the journey. Now, let me tell you the paraphrase, let me tell you the central theme of this poem, The Cherry Tree. Cherry Tree by Ruskin Bond is one of the most popular poems penned down by him. The poem begins with the poet recalling that 8 years ago, that 8 years ago he had placed a cherry seed in the grass. He remembered he remembered he wanted to have his own cherry tree. He wanted to remember to have his own cherry tree. He had watered the ground where he put the seed and forgotten about it and forgotten about it. The cherry tree, in spite of his carelessness, had survived. This is called struggle for existence. This is known as struggle for existence. At the end of the summer, at the end of the summer, the poet noticed, at the end of the summer, the poet noticed a small cherry tree planted where he placed the seed, growing among the tall wild grass. Among the tall wild grass. No one had known about it nor cared. No one knew about it nor cared for it. But it was a tiny 5-month old sapling. It was unnoticeable. It was unnoticeable in the grass. Goats grazing there ate the leaves and grass cutter hacked it with the sharp cutting blade. In the monsoon, a disease withered the little cherry sapling. You are yet the next spring, the poet saw. Yet the next spring, the poet saw that the plant was not only alive, the plant was not only alive but had three new shoots. It seemed eagerly pushing upward towards sunlight and air, struggling to somehow stay alive. The desire to remain alive in the cherry tree was very powerful. Now that the poet knew the plant was alive, he was impatient to see it grow further. But he could only wait. But he could only wait. As the young sapling took its time through the seasons, he felt it was miraculous that the plant was alive and striving to survive. He went away to Kashmir and returned after some time had lapsed. He himself came back thinner, not having much money, but he was thrilled to see that the cherry sapling was now 6 feet tall tree. He felt so proud of his own cherry tree, and he could not believe that there was actually a ripe red cherry hanging from a branch. The next year, the tree bore delicate pink cherry blossoms. The beautiful flowers were so dainty, so beautifully dressed that they would fall at the smallest breath of slightest breeze. The poet returns to the present after thinking back on how the tree came to be there. He is lying on the grass, under tree, looking up at the evening sky, showing between the branches and leaves overhead. He watched the birds darting about and bees hovering over the sweet flowers. As the sun set and stars appeared, there was the noise of crickets. Moon moths flew about, and his heart sang with joy, thinking of his cherry tree planted so many years ago. Now you have to understand one important thing, that this is a nature poem, and the importance of tree plantation is being mentioned here. Even if you neglect someone, even if you do not pay attention to a particular thing, but the plant or the animal or a bird has the desire to survive, it can survive even if the situation is adverse. Now you have to write about the struggle. You have to write about the struggle of the tree for survival. So listen it and write it down in your notebook seriously. Goats ate the leaves. Goats ate the leaves. The grass cutter scythe, SCYTHE, scythe means कोयत्याने कापणे, विळ्याने कापणे, scythe, split it apart, and a monsoon blight, and a monsoon blight shriveled the slender stem, shriveled the slender stem. The plant was almost destroyed on several occasions. Man and animal went about, man and animal went about regardless of the tree, even though no one noticed the little plant. It struggled, but it survived because it had the aspiration to survive, to prove its own existence. Now you have to state the reasons or the effects of the life of cherry tree was threatened. What are the factors which had given a great threat to the cherry tree not to survive? The poet had forgotten about the tree. No one cared about it or looked after it. The cattle ate the fresh leaves of the little plant. The cattle ate the fresh leaves of the little plant. The grass cutter did not notice it and mangled it when cutting the grass. The sapling, though in danger, struggled for life and survived with the help of the life giving sunlight and rains. Dear students, a small thought put into action led to great achievement. A small thought put into action led to great achievement. Find out the lines from the beginning of the poem and explain their significance. The opening lines are here. Since I placed my cherry seed, since I placed my cherry seed in the grass, must have tree of my own, I said. The desire to have his own tree prompted the poet to plant a cherry seed and water it, though later he forgot all about it. That seed sprouted, struggled, and grew, strived, and blossomed till it was 6 feet tall. It blossomed and yielded fruit too. So, this is all about our first YouTube video. Tomorrow onwards, we will see the text and tell you the figures of speech and the poetic devices applied by the poet in the poem. And thanks.